we like to talk about something what makes us great in front of the eyes of the others. But the more we talk about God, the more this love inside of us will grow more and more. That's why it's always nice to look at movies about saints or to read books about stories of saints, because we identify ourselves then with them. There is a Vishnu prayer in the Purana who says, as the minds of young girls take pleasure in thinking of a young boy, and those of young boys take pleasure in thinking of a young girl, may my mind take pleasure in you. We're saying to talk less. Often people talk and talk just wanting to run away. They are just scared to see the truth, to see inside themselves. So before we speak, we should test our mind. We should put some filter. And the first filter is just to look, is this positive, what I want to say? And you will see 90% from what we want to say, we can throw it in the bin. Because when we say something to others, we take their time. This time on earth is very precious. And if you read what Philippe de Lyon, it was a divine incarnation also, and he talked about all the spiritual life. And he said, if we knew the value of each second on earth, we will completely change our way to act and to talk. Because by stealing time to other people, we build karma. You talk stupid things just for fun. It can be very good if we make a sunrise on the face of the person. This is good punya. But if just it is for nothing, for negative feelings, then we steal his time. So this consciousness which is behind is the one we have to activate, to connect with. Because it is not the mind who can control the mind, it is the consciousness. It's very easy to see what is the consciousness. Let's say when we meditate or when we say our japa, then the mind wanders. Or when we do the Atma Kriya, suddenly we ask ourselves, oh my God, where I am, which chakra, moment, where? Why it is like this? Because a thought came, and you were just following this thought. You say, oh, moment, I was doing my japa, oh, I was doing my kriya, oh, I was meditating. And we focus again on the object of our meditation. Who is doing this? It's not the mind, it is a consciousness. It is a consciousness who put our concentration again on the object of our meditation. And more we do this, more we show the mind who is the boss. It's not the mind, it's the consciousness. So through prayer, through japam, through meditation, then we learn to control our thoughts. But the best of all is through silence. Silence means really that whatever we are doing, we stay calm and we control our tongue. Because our tongue is not a bone. You know, it's easy to control a bone. But the tongue is not a bone. It's very labil. And the funny thing is, by some people, you have the impression there is a direct connection from the brain to the tongue. Just thought, it's already out. Prayers and repeatedly thinking on the divine help to control this mind. Because through silence, the thoughts calm, the thoughts disappear. In 2009, we were discussing at the table in the dining room of the bungalow with Guruji, and I told him we often identify ourselves with this mind. And Guruji said, he answered, you must become an observer of the mind, observing your thought. But most people run after their mind. They take what produces their mind as a truth. And act without testing their thinking. Everything that comes into their heads out through our mouth, to their mouth. They speak whatever product the mind. Consciousness has a role to observe the thought and deeds. When we meditate, the observer can watch the mind. So I asked him, so meditating calms the mind? And Guruji said, when you calm the mind and then you talk little, you become the observer of every moment. When you observe your mind constantly, you can connect with your heart, and the heart is connected with the divine. I asked, when we pray, what is the highest prayer? And Guruji said, this is a prayer of silence. When we talk and we pray to God within oneself, when we pray in silence, it is the observer who prays. And I said, but the external world is often too attractive, even if we know that this is an illusion. And Guruji says, yes, with our 5 senses, we can enjoy the garden, but with our heart, we discover the gardener, which is more beautiful than the garden. Another time, we were in Greece in 2011. We were in an Orthodox church, so communion was completed. It was the end of the liturgy. And behind me there was the family who was discussing with a mom who had a little baby in the arm. My eyes went looking at the teeth of the mother. She had big teeth. And the mind was thinking, but how could it be possible to file them? And if she lined them, how she will look like afterwards? And at that moment, Guruji talked to me and said, oh, look at the Bible on the altar. It's placed horizontally, differently as how we are doing it. So I said, okay, yeah, it's the Greek way. Then I start thinking why suddenly Guruji was talking to me like this. So it was by analyzing this, I realized, oh, I should control my thought instead to let it run and thinking all kind of stupid things. So you see, Guruji is very tactful when he corrects ourselves. Well, it depends from person to person. Because you see, for the same mistake somebody is doing, to one person he will not say anything, because he sees that this person already saw his mistake and has seen it and want to change it. For another person who did not see the mistake, he will say, hey, did you see what did you do? It was a complete mess. If the person apologizes or say, yeah, truly it was completely stupid thing from me, Guruji will talk right away about something else. But if the person is say, no, it was not my fault, it was because of this and that, then Guruji will nail him on the wall. He will crush him down. With this mind and on this spiritual path, as we are used to judge, well, this mind is a judging instrument. What we do, we judge also the master. We judge the Sadguru instead to try to love and to surrender this mind. So often you see people who are deceived. They had an idea how the spiritual master has to be, and then they leave because they followed their mind. They judge the master. They forget all the nice experiences they had with the master, with the guru, and all what he did for us. That's why it's important to control this mind. But the essence of God, the essence of the master is always with us. Also in the Vishnu Purana it is said, whatever attraction I have for pious or sinful activities, let that attraction be wholeheartedly invested in you, Lord. So spirituality is first to calm this mind and not to create a fantasy that we project around us, what we are mostly doing all the time. We try to find fault in our brothers, sisters, when we have the same inside ourselves, isn't it? You know, once there was a great sadhu who felt in divine ecstasy on the street. He fell down in the middle of the road and he was in samadhi. A few hours later came a thief passing by. He saw the sadhu on the road and he thought, oh, this must be a thief who has been stealing the whole night. So now he is so tired, he's just resting. The policeman will come and fetch him. And then he went away. Next came a drunkard. And he saw the sadhu lying down. He told to him, oh, you have already fallen down. Look, I'm still standing. You drank too much. Look at me. I'm still standing. And then he went his way. And the third person who came was another sadhu. He saw the other sadhu lying on the street. He knew that he was in samadhi. So he sat down near him and began to massage his legs. You know, this is example how we colored this outside reality with the psycho-reality of our mind. The outside is neutral, completely. There is no good and bad outside. We are just limited because of our mind, our pride, our ego is so huge. We live in this world and we get attached to this world. We make our whole life depend on the outside. The important is what is inside of us, not outside. As Guruji said, live in the world, but don't let the world live inside of you. It's like a lotus, you know. The lotus has its roots in the mud, but on the surface of the water, it's nice fragrance and beauty. Don't let the negativity of the world affect ourselves. So be positive. And to be positive, the first thing we have to do is to accept ourselves, how we are. If it's not the best, give the guilt to God. It's not your fault. We have to love ourselves first, because we can only love others if we love ourselves. To begin to identify ourselves with this soul, with this divine part inside of us, because this is what we truly are. Jai Gurudev.